MLB trade deadline is coming up next week. We have a week away. Then you have also the Brewers and Cubs. The Brewers coming back from I think it was like a 7.5 game deficit back about a month and a half ago, and now they have regained first place, sole possession of first place by a full game. Um, Last night they won, or yesterday afternoon they won 10-2 against the Mariners, and the Cubs had dropped the series finale 8-4 to the Kansas City Royals. So I tell people it's going to be a very interesting finish. How it comes down to the NL Central. You can look at the
I
NL East
mean,
as well. The NL East is separated by half a game as well.
yeah, obviously the shine's kind of going to the NL Central right now just because those teams are the top two in the sport right now. The
Yeah.
Tigers are really struggling out in Detroit. I think a move could help them for sure. But it's going to be back and forth. There's no doubt about that. I think the biggest thing is going to be that series next week and then that
Yep.
5 game series in Chicago. I think if the Brewers can come out of that, or if the Cubs come out of that and take five out of the 8 games, so the Brewers take 5 out of the 8 games, they're going to be in the driver's seat to win the division. I don't really think there's much debate around that.
Yep.
If they can win the season series against each other, right now the Cubs are up 3-2 in the season series because one game got rained out. They took 2 or 3 in the first one and they split the second 2 games. If the Cubs can take 5 of 8 here, I think the Brewers are just kind of, I mean, they're going to be the top wild card most likely as long as they keep up even a 600 winning pace or a 500 winning pace. They're going to be around 91 to 94 wins most likely if even they play 500 ball from here on out. So it's going to come down to those two series. But as for the trade deadline, for both of these teams, they need very different things. The Cubs need starting pitching just because it's so injured. They have
Very.
two really good lockdown starting pitchers in Matthew Boyd and Shota, but they need a third and a fourth because in a playoff series, they're not best of two or best of three. The wild card is, but then you move on to the NLDS, which is best of five. And if you're going to make it through the wild card, you need good pitchers behind that. And the Cubs don't have that. They have Colin Ray, who's kind of inconsistent. We've seen him as a Brewer before. He's iffy. Um, Ben Brown is not to be trusted. He had another really shaky outing early this week. And I don't think a bullpen game is necessarily the best idea to do in the playoffs either. But then moving over to the Brewers, their biggest need is a
Oh
power
yeah, they
bat.
forgot. They have Jameson Tyon who's on the IL, but he's been pretty good. He's been pretty good. But I will say, as of late, he hasn't been as sharp as he was because obviously he's injured. So good.
He's an up and down guy
Yeah.
too.
Yep.
He's had good years and bad years. With the Yankees, he was kind of down, but with the Cubs, I want to say last year he had a good year. This year he started well, but then he had a couple bad outings, like you said. But then moving over to the Brewers, they need a power batter too, and that's really, I think the lineup right now is set up really well to add one or two power bats and then be set. And then another bullpen arm is another thing that the Brewers probably need. Like we talk about bullpen depth, but it really just comes down to Mears, Uribe, and McGill is like the top three. And then I would say there's a drop off after that. Grant Anderson has been good when he's out there, but he's not really a high leverage guy. Aaron Ashby and DL Hall aren't the best in leverage either. Jared Koenig's been really up and down this year for them as well. So adding one more solid bullpen arm and a couple power bats, I think are going to need to be the main things that the Brewers look at this deadline if they want to win a World Series in October. However, the rumors are saying that they're not going to do much, and that's very disappointing to hear because it feels like this might be their best opportunity to go and get one.
Yeah, you could picture maybe a Eugenio Suarez going to the Brewers, who would be definitely huge for their depth at power bat. Yelich, you got Yelich there. He's starting to take shape again, starting to look like a little bit of his old self, but still not all the way there. You got William Contreras. I don't know what has happened the past week. He's been horrendous over the past week,
So
but
I'll try and explain. I'm not saying that this is 100% impacting it, but he does have a broken finger,
yeah,
so that doesn't help. And he's been playing through it all year, so his his batting stats are down a little bit because of that. Because we definitely expected him to be a 20 to 25 home run guy this year, maybe even more than that, and it just has not panned out. He only has 6, and the majority of those were in the beginning of the season in that series in Colorado.
Yeah, I can agree. Definitely something you gotta watch for because that broken fingers are not good to come back from. They're hard to come back from. Um, Especially, it takes a time for it to heal. Well, it takes about 4 weeks for actual broken bone to heal. If you have good healing, maybe 3.5 weeks if your healing is like very expedited. If you have really good healing abilities. But they have a lot of contact guys. The Brewers I've seen when I watched the game, past 2 games, I think against the Mariners. I watched the game um, when the streak got broke, 1-0, and then I watched a little bit of yesterday's game. They got a lot of guys that hit for contact, and I'm not gonna say that's not gonna get you so far, but they could but when it comes down to postseason and you're hitting the ball a lot, that might actually help you. When you look at the power teams like the Phillies, you look at the power teams like the Dodgers. One championship out of the last 6 years. One championship out of the last 6 years is not going to cut it for you, especially when you have guys like Otani now, and then you have guys like Bryce Harper. He has yet to win a championship, and wherever he's gone has had a lot of power bats. He's got Schwarber there. He's got um, Nick Castellanos there. He's got who else? He has um,
I mean, the Phillies are just a
Alec
really
Bohm.
good team in the sense that they have just hitters. They don't necessarily have to be power bats. They kind of have a mix of both with Alec Bohm, who's been a lot more of a contact guy this year than a power bat. Obviously, they have Harper, who's kind of a mix of both. Schwarber is definitely leaning more towards that power side. But I think the biggest thing for October, because baseball is the most unpredictable sport when it comes to the postseason, just because you don't know who's hot and who's not. Baseball is such a sport predicated on who's hot. We've seen, like, I would say the Brewers team 2 years ago that lost to the Diamondbacks, I could confidently say that we were better than the Diamondbacks were most of the season. But the thing is, we ran into the Diamondbacks at the wrong time. And I can even more confidently say that the Phillies were better and the Dodgers were better than them that year as well. However, they were able to sneak past them because they were hot at the right time. My concern with the Brewers right now is if they don't make any moves, all these bats are hot right now. The starting pitching is on fire. Quinn Priester came out of nowhere this year. Jose Quintana has been decent. Brandon Woodruff has been really good in his appearances so far. Jacob Mizorowski is a phenom, but they're going to have to limit his innings down the stretch. Freddie, we don't. The thing about Freddie, too, is like he's a good pitcher against the bad teams, but against a team like the Dodgers, he really struggled. And that's happened in the postseason before as well. It happened 2 years ago against the D-backs where he just wasn't able to get it going. But I think this team just needs a move because if all these batters that are hot right now, Churrio's on a huge hitting streak, Yelich is on a huge on base streak. If these guys cool off come September, they need someone to pick it up. And I don't think Andrew Vaughn is necessarily going to be that guy for them either.
Yeah, we have a Sox fan in our group in one of our group chats, David, who been on the show a few times a little bit. He's big and adamant that Andrew Vaughn is not what the Brewers are thinking he is, but you never know because some guys might have a change of scenery that jolts their career. Like look at the Cubs when they had got Jake Arrieta. Jake Arrieta was very bad. He was very bad with the Orioles. They got him and he turned into Cy Young, literally. He
I mean, we're
rejuvenated his
seeing
whole
that with
career.
Matthew Boyd right now as we speak
Yeah.
too for the Cubs, just out of nowhere, just becoming an all-star phenom level pitcher. The thing is about the Brewers though is they're known for doing that, but with pitchers. They're not known for doing that with hitters, giving them a renaissance. And if they do, it's usually like a week or two. It's not super long, but yeah, Vaughn came back down to earth a lot more this week. And yes, they did. I think our conversations about George Webb's almost jinxed them in a way too, because of course they had to win 10-2 yesterday, but couldn't put up a single run on Tuesday, which was unfortunate.
So we have Nazir Spencer in here. Nice of you to join us.
Bro, my muffler on my car, it was like hanging off, so I had to go take it to the shop like right away. So I didn't even realize it, but I was like, dang, I can't even join early today. But I took it
It's
at
all
like
good.
9:30.
We just talk about MLB right now, so.
Ooh, you talking about the Brewers better than the Cubs, or are we doing that next week?
Well, we'll probably do that next week when we'll see whoever actually takes that series.
Okay.
But
Okay.
I mean, when we have our Tuesday pod next week, it'll be mid-series, so we'll see the Monday game, and we'll be in between.
Yeah, we'll be right in between, and then that Thursday pod will definitely be right before the trade deadline special that we'll have next week. Hopefully, I don't have to work. So, literally,
what happened? What happened to? Yeah, bro. It's just this week, bro. It's been rough. But what's going on with Hulk Hogan, bro? What happened?
Yeah, he passed away. We had just talked about it like right before.
Yeah, we talked about it a little bit.
Yeah, we talked about it right before this segment that he passed away at like 10 minutes ago. I got an alert saying that he passed. So
I didn't even see it, but rip.
No worries. TMZ has said that it was a cardiac arrest when he passed. So
my TMZ always got the details like that. They
got the scoop, man.
They had Kobe
on
die
top of it before the insiders are. It's incredible.
And that's at 8:36 a.m. Pacific time too. So that's wild that y'all get on that early. Like,
yeah, they late too. That's
I mean, that was like we got that news around, I don't know, maybe 10:50, 11. That was within 20 minutes.
They 2 hours behind.
Think about it. It's 8:30 over there. Because it was 9 something over our time. So
that's wild. I don't know how they did that.
But yeah, we were going we were just talking about what teams, especially Cubs, Brewers, what they should do at the deadline, which they should look at the deadline, since being a week away, and then we got like 5 or 6 60-win teams. So that's really good for baseball, I will say.
I don't even know what the Brewers need, but I know they need to do something. They're so consistent throughout their whole team, but I feel like if they add one more piece, I don't know where. I don't know if you guys have an idea where for the Brewers, but if they add one more piece, but I don't know where, it's over. I think we got a real shot at taking a push this October, but I always said that and we lose, so we'll see.
Well, the thing is too is we don't make that one move ever. Like we've never really been a team. We're very prospect oriented in the sense that we want to keep our guys that are valuable. We don't want to give them up for rentals. Especially like Eugenio Suarez, for example, this year. His value is going to be sky high despite being a rental because of how hot he's been with the home run ball. He has 35 homers this year. I don't see, as much as I want him on our roster, our front office sacrificing any prospects for a guy like him and a chance at a title just because that's not how they roll.